Millionaire CEO wanted to destroy her reputation. But she walked into the boardroom and what she did shocked everyone. Before we begin, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from. And when the story ends, don't forget to rate it from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story. The elevator doors slid open with a muted chime. And the sounds of the 53rd floor keyboard clicks, hurried footsteps, clipped greetings faded instantly as Adrian Hale stepped out. He didn't need noise to announce his arrival. People simply sensed it. The posture straightened. The glances sharpened. The energy shifted. It always did. Adrian moved with the controlled confidence of a man who never rushed, never hesitated, never doubted. Everything about him was precise: his tailored navy suit, the clean lines of his haircut, the calm, unreadable expression that had become a trademark of Sutton and Hawley's famously disciplined CEO. But today, there was something colder than usual in his face, something surgical. He held a slim black folder in his hand, evidence, as far as he was concerned. Evidence that Emily Carter, a 26-year-old marketing strategist, had sabotaged the company's biggest proposal. He didn't bring the folder for discussion, he brought it for execution. And he would carry it out in front of the entire board. Adrian pushed open the conference room door. The long table was already half occupied. CFOs, division heads, senior partners, polished, serious people who had learned to read the slightest shift in their CEO's demeanor. They read this one perfectly: trouble. And someone was about to be the center of it. Adrian walked to the head seat, placed the folder on the glossy table, and stood rigidly behind the chair. His jaw ticked once. That was the only sign of emotion. "Morning, Adrian," one board member said cautiously. "Morning," he replied without inflection. "Everything all right?" another ventured. "It will be." Nathan Cole, his QM, the closest thing Adrian had to a friend, caught the tone immediately. He leaned toward Adrian slightly. "You're sure about this?" Nathan asked quietly. Adrian didn't look at him. "I don't act unless I'm certain. And she's the one responsible," Nathan pressed. Adrian's voice cooled further. "All evidence leads to her," he said. "Every log, every access point, every timestamp." Nathan hesitated. "You know she's well respected on her team." Adrian finally turned his head, his eyes sharp. "She fooled them," he said. "She won't fool me." Nathan exhaled slowly. He knew better than to argue. 8:59 a.m. The room grew quiet, and naturally quiet, as if someone had pressed mute on the entire floor. All eyes drifted toward the glass door. The moment it opened, the shift was palpable. Emily Carter stepped inside. Not rushed, not timid, but steady, far steadier than she felt inside. She wore a simple white blouse and black trousers, her brown hair tied back, a few loose strands softening her face. She carried no laptop, no papers, just herself. Her posture was straight, her expression composed, but her hands, clasped together in front of her, betrayed a faint tremor. She stopped just inside the room. "Mr. Hale," she said quietly. "You asked to see me." Her voice was soft, clear, polite. Nothing in her tone suggested guilt. Adrian didn't miss that, the audacity of it. "Have a seat," he said, gesturing toward the chair halfway down the table. As she walked toward the chair, whispers brushed through the room like static. "That's her. Unbelievable." She seemed so. I knew something was off. Emily heard everything. She kept walking. She sat. The silence after that was almost physical. Adrian took the folder and stepped toward the center of the room. "This meeting," he began, "concerns an internal breach of protocol and confidentiality." Some board members shifted nervously. "Our proprietary AI proposal project Aurora was leaked to Iris Dynamics last week, a proposal we've been developing for nearly 2 years. Emily's breath caught. She knew how monumental Aurora was. She'd been part of a small team brainstorming its outreach campaign. And she knew nothing about any leak. Adrian opened the black folder. "After a full internal audit," he continued, "one employee's activity, accessed logs, and off-hour transmissions matched the leak profile." He let the tension build intentionally. Then he said it. "Emily Carter." Emily's heart lurched as if someone had punched her from inside. Her eyes lifted to meet his, and for the first time, Adrian saw something in them he didn't expect. Not panic, not denial, but disbelief, hurt, and something like no, impossibly betrayal. As if he had wronged her. Mr. Hale, she said slowly. That's not possible. Adrian's expression didn't change. We have the logs. The timestamps, the IP trail. Emily shook her head once small, controlled, but full of confusion. I didn't leak anything, she said firmly. I would never do that. You had motive, Adrian countered. Your proposal for the campaign framework wasn't selected. You argued with your team lead. You were working late the night the documents were accessed. That's not a motive, she said, her voice tightening. That's a schedule. There was a murmur around the table. Adrian's jaw tightened. He hated resistance, especially from someone who had no right to defend themselves. He placed the folder on the table and slid a page toward her. Explain why your employee ID accessed the restricted Aurora files at 11:32 p.m. Emily looked at the page, then back at him. I wasn't in the office at that time. That's not what the logs show. Then someone used my ID. That's not how our system works, Adrian said coldly. Emily didn't look away. Maybe your system was manipulated. Now the room really stirred. Even Nathan lifted his head at that, but Emily wasn't done. She leaned forward slightly, her palms pressed to the table. Mr. Hale, she said, voice calm but tight with emotion. Someone is framing me. Adrian's eyes hardened. Convenient explanation. It's the truth. Do you have proof? No, she admitted, but neither do you proof that I did it. I have enough to terminate your employment and pursue legal action. Emily inhaled sharply. It was the first sound of fear she had made. He saw it, he felt it. And for a split second, barely a flicker, something in his chest twisted, something he couldn't name. He crushed it instantly. This meeting is documentation, Adrian said. Nothing more. Your final dismissal will be processed by noon. A wave of whispers spilled around the room. Emily's fingers curled into fists. Mr. Hale, she whispered, you're making a terrible mistake. Adrian didn't blink. You made the mistake. Her face paled, but her eyes wide, clear, wounded held his. Then she did something no one expected. Emily stood, slowly, deliberately. She pressed her palms flat against the table, her voice trembling but not with fear, with conviction. Before you ruin my name, she said, I want 5 minutes, that's all. 5 minutes to show you something you haven't looked at yet. Adrian's expression flickered barely. The board went silent. What could you possibly show us? He asked. Emily lifted her chin. The one thing you refused to check. A pause. The logs of the CEO's office. Every head snapped toward Adrian. The air cracked. And Adrian felt, for the first time in years, a fracture in his control. Silence. Not corporate silence, not the polite, controlled kind that fills meeting rooms during presentations. This was different. Raw. Electric. Charged. Every person at the table stared at Emily as if she had just detonated something in the middle of the room. Even Nathan's eyebrows shot up. Only Adrian remained still, jaw tight, back straight, fingers pressed lightly against the folder he'd weaponized just minutes ago. But something in his eyes shifted, briefly, sharply, as if she had struck a nerve. Miss Carter, Adrian said slowly, what exactly are you implying? Emily didn't back down. I'm not implying anything, Mr. Hale, she said. I'm stating a fact. Her gaze swept across the table, then returned to him. Your office system logs were not included in the internal audit. The CFO blinked. That's impossible. All network points are usually. They weren't this time. Emily cut in gently, but firmly. Someone excluded them. Deliberately. Because if they were included, you'd see something that changes everything. A few people exchanged tense glances. Adrian's expression hardened into something colder, sharper, a warning. You are dangerously close to making an accusation you cannot take back. Emily didn't flinch. I'm not accusing you, she said softly. I'm saying the truth is in the one place no one dared to check. She let the moment settle. Let it breathe. Then, access to the Aurora files didn't come from marketing. It came from the executive network. The coup inhaled sharply. Two board members murmured something in disbelief. And Adrian, for the first time in the entire meeting, shifted his weight, ever so slightly, as if he had felt a blow. That is a serious allegation, he said through clenched teeth. It's not an allegation, Emily replied. It's a pattern. And you know I'm good at patterns. Nathan leaned forward, suddenly alert. Emily, he said carefully, what exactly did you see? Emily reached into her small bag, Her hands shook, not from fear, but from the magnitude of what she was about to do. She placed her phone gently on the table. A single gesture, quiet, but seismic. Adrian's eyes narrowed. What is that? The beginning of something you didn't know existed, Emily said. Something I found by accident 2 nights ago. You access restricted. No, she cut him off. I didn't access anything I wasn't allowed to, but I did notice an anomaly. A ping in the network at a time the system wasn't supposed to wake. What does that have to do with The ping originated on the executive bandwidth, she said. Near your office. Not mine. The room erupted into low whispers. Adrian's nostrils flared, a tiny, involuntary reaction. Show us, Nathan said suddenly. Adrian shot him a look, sharp, warning, but it was too late. Curiosity had spread like wildfire across the table. Emily unlocked her phone. Her thumb lingered for a moment, because she knew what this meant. Not just for her. Not just for her reputation, but for him. And he deserved to know that too. She lifted her eyes to Adrian's face, unreadable, beautiful in a cold, harsh way, and said softly, I'm showing this because I'm innocent, not because I want to hurt you. He froze. For a moment, it was as if she had reached across the table and touched something buried deep under the armor he'd worn for years. Then she tapped the screen. A series of screenshots appeared. Timestamps, network activity logs, system wake-ups originating from a device registered on the executive floor. Emily zoomed in on one line. Here, she said. 32 minutes before the Aurora proposal was extracted. The logs were crystal clear. The access point didn't belong to marketing. It belonged to a device in Adrian's office. A ripple went through the room, shock, confusion, disbelief. Even those who disliked Emily looked shaken. Nathan exhaled so hard it almost sounded like a curse. One of the legal advisors leaned in, whispering urgently to her colleague. And Adrian. He didn't move. He just stared. Not at the screen, at her. At the woman he had dragged here to destroy. At the woman who was now undoing everything, not with dramatics, not with anger, not with tears, but with quiet, logical truth. Truth he hadn't bothered to look for. Truth he had refused to imagine. His jaw clenched. Those logs mean nothing, he said. Anyone could have. Your office door requires biometric entry. The words were simple, but the impact was devastating. Adrian felt something sharp twist in his stomach. Her voice softened, not mocking, not triumphant, just honest. I'm telling you there's another layer to this. Someone wanted to make it look like it came from me. But the real leak didn't start where you were looking. The boardroom felt suffocating. Every breath, every glance, every second. Nathan cleared his throat. Adrian, maybe we need to pause the termination. A single sentence. A crack in the ice. Adrian's eyes snapped to him, furious, betrayed, incredulous. But Nathan didn't flinch. She has evidence. We can't ignore that. We also can't take her word, Adrian began. It's not a word. It's data. Nathan looked at Emily. You said 5 minutes, he said. Do you need more? Emily inhaled deeply. Yes, she said quietly, because there's one more thing. The room stilled again. Even Adrian couldn't stop himself from listening. What is it? He asked, voice low, almost dangerous. Emily looked him straight in the eye. Her next sentence would shatter the air in the room like glass. Mr. Hale, the device that accessed the files wasn't yours. He frowned. Then whose? Emily's voice tightened, hurt flickering in her eyes for the first time. It belonged to someone on your executive team. She swallowed. Someone who used your office to do it. The room went dead silent. Then she whispered the name, and everything changed. Her lips parted. Her voice was steady, too steady for a moment like this. The device, Emily said, was registered too. She stopped just long enough for every person at the table to lean forward. Julia Marks. The reaction was instantaneous. A ripple of shock rolled across the room. Julia Marks, the executive director of strategy. 39 years old. Brilliant. Feared. Ruthlessly ambitious. Adrian's right hand in multiple acquisitions. The woman half the board considered the future coup. A few gasps. A muttered curse. Someone whispered, no way. Julia, seated only 3 chairs away from Adrian, went perfectly still, like prey suddenly spotlighted. Her fingers gripped the edge of the table, knuckles white. Adrian's eyes snapped to her, cold, sharp, incredulous. Julia, he said, voice low with disbelief. She didn't answer. Emily didn't look at her. She kept her gaze on Adrian, steady, unwavering, painfully honest. The access logs linked to a device assigned to M's. Marks, she said. And that device was connected from inside your office. Julia finally found her voice stiff, brittle. That's ridiculous. I would never. You used his office, Emily continued, because it would divert suspicion, because no one would dare to question the CEO's network. Julia's chair scraped back. You're lying, she snapped. Emily didn't blink. I have the logs. They're fabricated. I pulled them directly from the system, Emily replied calmly, from the part you didn't expect anyone to check. Julia's breathing quickened. Her hands shook. But Adrian. He stared at Julia with a look Emily had never seen on him. Not anger, not betrayal, but realization. Cold, slow, sickening. Julia, he said, you were here that night. Of course I was. Julia shot back. We were finalizing the quarterly revisions at 11:30 p.m. Adrian asked. She faltered. The moment stretched. Then Julia forced a scoff. Adrian, you can't possibly believe her over me. She's a mid-level strategist. She has every reason to want to save her job. I have every reason, Emily cut in sharply, to tell the truth. Because if I lie, I go to prison. If I tell the truth, maybe I get a chance to prove I'm not who you think I am. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from something deeper. Hurt. Humiliation. The raw need to be heard. Adrian noticed. He shouldn't have, but he did. Something in his chest tightened. Julia saw that shift, that tiny, imperceptible change in his posture, and her face twisted. This girl, Julia hissed, is manipulating you? Emily's eyes widened slightly. I'm not manipulating anyone, she said quietly. I'm trying to show you what really happened. You're making this up. Emily turned toward her, finally meeting Julia's furious stare. Then explain the device, Emily said. Explain the access. Explain why the system pinged from his office before the leak. Explain the timestamps. Julia opened her mouth, closed it, fighting, scrambling, drowning. Someone stole my device, she blurted. Emily exhaled, a breath halfway between disbelief and sorrow. Your device requires your fingerprint, she said. You know that. A suffocating silence sat over the room. No one dared move. Adrian's voice dropped to an icy whisper. Julia, look at me. She didn't. Look at me, he repeated. Slowly, she lifted her eyes. Her face was pale, her jaw trembling. And in that moment, that long, brutal second, Adrian finally saw it. The guilt, the fear, the flicker of something she couldn't hide. Not from him. Not anymore. Did you do it? He asked. Julia shook her head violently. No. No, Adrian, I swear, did you? He repeated. Leak Aurora. Her voice cracked. The board members leaned in, breathless. Nathan watched with clenched teeth. Emily sat perfectly still, her hands folded tightly in her lap, her heartbeat pounding loud enough to drown out the room. Julia swallowed hard. I can explain, she whispered. A collective exhale, the kind that only comes when the truth begins to surface. Emily closed her eyes briefly. She didn't want this. She didn't want anyone's ruin. She only wanted her name back. Adrian straightened, tall, commanding, terrifyingly calm. Explain, he said. Julia's face contorted. Iris Dynamics approached me 3 months ago. A shockwave swept the room. Emily felt her stomach drop. Nathan cursed under his breath. Julia went on, voice trembling now. They said they'd match my salary 3 times over. Offer me a division of my own. They wanted insights, nothing major. Just competitive. Perspective. You sold them our research, Adrian said, voice dead. No, Julia cried. I gave them harmless info at first. Market projections. Public things. But then Aurora advanced faster than expected and you betrayed the company, Nathan snapped. Julia spun toward him. I didn't mean for it to go that far. They pressured me, threatened to expose the earlier exchanges. I panicked. You panicked, Adrian echoed, his voice thick with something dangerous. So you destroyed the work of 200 people. Julia's eyes filled with tears. I thought using your network would hide it. No one would question it. And her finger jabbed toward Emily. She was the perfect scapegoat. Wrong place, wrong time, working late. The words died on her tongue. Because Adrian didn't look at her anymore. He was looking at Emily. Really looking. For the first time. At her drained face. At the quiet dignity with which she had walked into a room prepared to tear her apart. At the courage it took to stand against power, against him, against the entire board. At the woman he had nearly destroyed, with complete conviction. His throat tightened. Emily, he said, quietly, please, give us a moment. It wasn't a command. It wasn't cold. It was almost human. Emily hesitated, then rose slowly. Her hands trembled as she gathered her bag. Not from fear now. From adrenaline. From relief so sharp it hurt. From the weight of a humiliation that was finally lifting. As she reached the door, someone from the board said quietly, "Miss Carter, thank you." For the first time that morning, her eyes softened. But before she could leave, Adrian's voice followed her. Not cold, not arrogant. Something else. Something she didn't expect. "Emily." She stopped. He stood rigidly at the table's head, shoulders tense, eyes locked onto her with a look she didn't know how to interpret. "Not yet. We're not finished." A pause. "With your case," he added. Another pause. "With you?" Her breath caught. She didn't answer. She simply walked out, closing the glass door behind her. Inside, the boardroom erupted. But outside, Emily leaned against the wall, closing her eyes, trying to breathe through shaking lungs, because she had just changed everything, and she had no idea what Adrian Hale was going to do next. Emily didn't go back to her desk. She couldn't. Her legs were shaking too badly, and the corridor felt too narrow, too loud, too exposed. She walked until she found the small break room on the 17th floor and used, quiet, its lights half dimmed because no one had bothered to adjust the timer. She pushed the door open, stepped inside, and finally let her chest collapse. Her palms pressed against the counter. Her breath came in sharp tremors. Hours ago, she'd been preparing to lose her career, her future, maybe even her freedom. Now the truth was out. But relief didn't feel clean. It felt raw, metallic, dangerous. Her throat burned. What now? Her job wasn't safe. Her reputation still damaged. Julia's still inside that boardroom with the power to twist narratives. Emily swallowed hard. They'll protect themselves. They always do. She didn't even hear the door open. "Emily?" She stiffened instantly. Her shoulders locked. Her breath froze. She knew the voice calm, steady, deep. Adrian Hale. She turned slowly. He stood just inside the doorway, towering, composed, but his expression different. Not the CEO mask. Something rougher. Almost remorse. Emily straightened, wiping her palms against her skirt. "Mr. Hale," she said, voice smaller than she wanted. He took a step toward her. She flinched, barely noticeable, but he noticed. He stopped moving. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, "I owe you an apology." The air in the room shifted. Not the company's CEO speaking. A man who had just realized he'd put the wrong person on the edge of a cliff. Emily blinked, unsure she heard correctly. But he continued, voice even but strained. "I misjudged you. I misjudged the situation. And I nearly destroyed your career based on incomplete information." Her pulse hammered. He wasn't reading from a script. He wasn't sugarcoating it. He meant it. But Emily's voice was barely a whisper. Nearly. His jaw tightened, not defensive, but pained. "I was wrong." Silence wrapped around them. He stepped closer, slowly this time, giving her space to stop him. She didn't. He lowered his voice. "When you walked into that room this morning, I expected someone desperate. Someone cornered. Someone scrambling. A pause. But you were composed, sharp, braver than most people I've worked with." Emily's breath caught. She didn't want praise. She wanted answers. "What happens now?" she asked. "To my position? My name?" Adrian exhaled, a heavy, conflicted breath. "The board is demanding an internal investigation. HR will be involved. Legal, too." His eyes locked onto hers. "But I'm putting my weight behind clearing you completely." Her chest tightened. "You're supporting me, yes. Because you feel guilty?" she asked. Her voice wasn't rude. It was honest, shaken. His gaze sharpened. "No," he said. "Because you were telling the truth. Because you handled this with integrity. A beat. And because I respect you." Her throat tightened. She didn't know what to do with that. No one in this building had ever said they respected her, especially not him. She folded her arms, grounding herself. "And Julia?" His expression darkened, shadows hardening around his eyes. "She's suspended. Effective immediately. Her access revoked." Emily felt her stomach twist. The consequences were massive, for the company, for him, for everything. "She won't go down quietly," Emily whispered. "I know," Adrian said. "She's already threatening to sue. Claims the logs were manipulated. Claims you had help." His jaw flexed. "But it won't work." Emily looked away. She didn't feel triumphant. She felt tired. "And the leak?" she asked. "Will it hurt the company?" "Yes," he said honestly. "But her involvement gives us leverage. We'll contain the damage." He hesitated. Then, softer, "You saved us from much worse." Emily laughed once, humorless. "I saved myself," she corrected. His eyes warmed a fraction, enough to unsettle her. "You did both?" She looked down, swallowing the knot in her throat. "You almost destroyed me," she said quietly. He didn't flinch. "I know." His voice dropped lower. And I've never regretted anything more. Her breath hitched, sharp and unguarded. Adrian noticed, and for a moment, just a split second, something charged moved between them, unspoken, fragile, impossible. He stepped back first, professional distance snapping back into place. "This isn't over," he said. "There will be meetings, reviews, statements. I'll walk you through each step." She nodded. He reached for the door, then paused, hand on the handle. "One more thing." Emily looked up. His eyes met hers, dark, intent, unreadable. "You're not alone in this anymore." Then he left. Emily stood frozen, not because of what he said, but because of how he said it, and because for the first time since this nightmare began, she believed him. By noon the next day, the storm had already begun. Not a physical one. Emily had gotten her wish on that. The kind of storm you didn't see, you felt. Emails flooded her inbox. Some supportive, some cold, many suspicious. People stared at her in hallways as if she were a living headline. HR summoned her twice. Legal once. Everything in her life now felt like it was under a microscope. By the time the elevator doors opened on the 32nd floor, Emily's nerves were stretched thin, but the real blow came when she stepped out and saw the large digital information screen by the reception, normally displaying stock prices and company milestones. Today, it read, "Breaking, Hail Dynamics executive leak. New suspect emerged," and beneath that, "Executive insider. Allegedly framed marketing analyst in high-profile corporate espionage case." Emily felt her stomach sink. "They used my photo." Her badge picture exhausted. Flat lighting, 5 years old, plastered across a business newsfeed. She heard whispers behind her. Is that her? Poor thing. Or maybe not so poor. Depends how you see it. Julia would never. Holly's office must be on fire right now. Emily turned sharply, her eyes burning. She headed straight toward the CEO's private hallway. The receptionist tried to stop her gently. "Miss Carter, Mr. Hale is in," but the door had already opened. And Adrian Hale stepped out. His usually immaculate composure was shattered, shoulders tense, hair slightly disordered from running his hand through it repeatedly, tie loosened. He looked furious, not at her, at what the world was turning this into. Their eyes met, and something inside him clicked. He walked toward her without hesitation. "Emily," he said, voice low, urgent. "Come with me." He didn't touch her, he never did, but the intensity in his tone made the entire hallway fall silent. She followed him into his office. The moment the door shut, she spoke first. "They're dragging my name through the news." No, they're making it sound like I'm involved in some executive scandal." "I know." "And they're implying I was having an affair." His head snapped up. "What?" She jabbed a finger toward the headline on his tablet. "They're hinting I got access through improper executive relationship channels." "That's a polite way of saying." "I know what it means." His voice dropped to a dark, dangerous register she hadn't heard before. He set the tablet down slowly. "Precisely. Then, I'll shut it down." "What?" "I said I'll shut it down." "You can't control the media," she shot back. "Not like that." A sharp, almost humorless sound escaped him, something between disbelief and irritation. "Emily, Hale Dynamics is a Fortune 100 company. We have entire divisions dedicated to controlling the media. But this story isn't about the company," she whispered. "It's about me." His chest rose with a tight breath. Then, he said something that made her pulse quicken. Not out of fear, out of shock. "And what they're doing to you is unacceptable." Emily blinked. "You barely believed I was innocent." "Yesterday." His jaw tightened. "And since then, I've looked at the logs myself. Every line, every timestamp. I've spoken to IT security. I've replayed your testimony from the boardroom a dozen times." He lifted his gaze to hers. "When I'm wrong, I fix it. And I will fix this." Emily's eyes softened, not with trust, but with disbelief that someone in his position would fight for her. But before she could respond, his desk phone rang. He didn't pick it. Up. The internal line flashed red, urgent. Then his assistant's voice came through the intercom. "Sir, Julia Bennett just filed a wrongful suspension claim and is threatening to release emails." Emily felt the blood drain from her face. Adrian's reaction was immediate. "Do not respond. Stall her." "I'm coming down." "But sir, stall her." He turned to Emily. "You're not leaving this office," he said. "Lock the door if you have to." "Why?" "Because the moment she realizes you're not intimidated, she come after you directly. And I need time to stop what she's about to do." Emily swallowed. "Do you trust me that much?" she said quietly. A beat, then his reply. Low and unguarded. I trust you more than anyone else involved in this mess. Her breath hitched. His eyes flicked to the door. He had to go, but he hesitated, for the first time since she'd known him. Adrian Hale looked at her not as a CEO, not as a subordinate, but as a man who hated the idea of leaving her unprotected. Then he left the office, his steps sharp, purposeful, filled with restrained fury. The door clicked shut behind him. Emily stood in the silence, her heart pounding. She looked at his empty desk chair, his untouched coffee. His open tablet showing her photo on the news, and a terrifying realization crept in. This wasn't just a leak scandal anymore. Julia was going to escalate. The media was already weaponizing everything. And Adrian was stepping directly into the fire for her. She didn't know whether to be grateful or terrified. The confrontation began before Adrian even reached the 28th floor. He could hear Julia's voice echoing down the hallway, sharp, furious, edged like broken glass. Slander, that's what this is. I built this company's partnerships. I brought in $50 million in contracts last year. And you suspend me because of some junior analyst. Miss Bennett, the head of legal, tried, but Julia steamrolled him. Don't Miss Bennett me. Do you have any idea what this looks like publicly? Internally, I'm the scapegoat, aren't I? And all because Hale is suddenly playing hero for that girl. Adrian stepped into the doorway. Julia froze mid-sentence, not because she was intimidated. Julia wasn't the type, but because she realized she'd said too much. Way too much. Everyone turned. Legal, HR, PR. They all knew the temperature in the room had dropped 10 degrees. Adrian spoke quietly. One more word about Emily Carter, and I will personally escort you out of the building. Julia let out a bitter laugh. So it's true. She's untouchable now. She tilted her head mockingly. What is she to you, Adrian? A convenient martyr. A pretty distraction. Or, that's enough, he snapped, and the room fell dead silent. It wasn't the volume. He didn't raise his voice. It was the tone. Hard, decisive. A warning from a man who rarely gave second ones. Julia's eyes glinted with dangerous amusement. There it is, she said softly. Emotion. She stood straighter, crossing her arms. You know what the board is saying? That you're compromised. That this little crusade of yours is personal. Adrian didn't blink. Your actions compromised the board. Not mine. Her lips curved. And the leak. Are you ready to bet your career that it wasn't you who made a mistake? Or her? What if she played you? What if she accessed something she shouldn't, and you covered it up because? Julia, he said, voice low. Leave her out of this. Oh, I will, she said sweetly, when I'm done ruining her. PR flinched. Legal inhaled sharply. Adrian took one step forward, slow, controlled, and the room collectively held its breath. You threaten her again, he said, and I will end your career so thoroughly that no tech company in the country will touch you. Test me. Julia didn't move, but something in her expression shifted, a flash of calculation beneath the anger. Then she smiled. No need. She pulled out her phone, tapped the screen, and turned it toward him. A headline glowed in bold black letters. Rising executive at Hale Dynamics suspended. Leak may involve personal connection to CEO. Beneath it, anonymous source claims the junior analyst at center of scandal had unusual access to executive areas. Emily's name. Again. Her photo. Again. Implied impropriety. Implied relationship. Implied motive. And worst of all, anonymous source. Adrian's blood ran cold. Did you leak this to the media? He asked very slowly. She shrugged. Damage control. If you want to drag my name publicly, I'll drag yours. And hers. Fair's fair. The head of legal spoke up, voice trembling. Julia, this violates everything. Adrian finished. Then fire me. Her smile sharpened. I dare you. 32 floors up. Emily didn't know any of this was happening yet. She sat alone in Adrian's office, her legs pulled up against herself as she stared at the muted television screen. The same headline now ran across national news. Her chest tightened. Hard. The room felt smaller. Air thinner. Her heart beat too loud. Not again. Not again. Not again. Her fingers trembled uncontrollably. Her breath came in fast, shallow bursts. She pressed her palms to the table, but the panic rose higher. Her vision blurred. Her hearing dimmed. Her throat closed. I can't breathe. She staggered up, knocking over a glass of water on his desk. She reached for her phone, but her hands were shaking too violently to unlock it. Her mind screamed, everyone thinks I slipped my way into executive access. They think I manipulated him. They think I'm dirty. I'm going to lose my job. I'm alone. Her knees buckled. She slid down against the wall behind his desk, curling in on herself as the panic attack crashed fully over her. Hands shaking, heart racing, body trembling. Then the door opened. Emily? Adrian froze when he saw her on the floor. His entire expression cracked. He crossed the room in 3 long strides. He didn't touch her. He wasn't sure if he should, but he crouched directly in front of her, lowering himself to her level, voice soft but steady. Hey, look at me. She squeezed her eyes shut. I'm sorry. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Couldn't speak. Emily, he said gently, you're having a panic attack. It's okay. No, it's not, her voice broke. I can't. Everyone thinks. Listen to me, he said, firmer now. You're safe. No one is going to touch you. No one is going to take your job. Breathe with me. He inhaled slowly. She tried, failed, tried again. Her breaths hitched violently. His face softened, pain flickering behind his eyes. Emily, he whispered, I'm here. She opened her eyes, barely, and something inside her shattered at the sight of him watching her, not with judgment, not with superiority, but with genuine concern. He lifted his hands, paused. Can I hold your hands? He asked. His voice was barely above a breath. She nodded weakly. He reached forward, gently taking her shaking hands in his warm, steady, grounding. Focus on my voice, he said. You're okay. Slowly, painfully slowly, her breaths began to deepen. Her heartbeat slowed. Her hands steadied. It took minutes, long ones, but he never looked away from her, not once. When she finally exhaled without choking, he whispered, That's it. Good. A tear slid down her cheek. She wiped it quickly, embarrassed. Sorry, she whispered. Don't apologize, he said softly. Not to me. A long silence stretched between them. Then she asked, voice trembling, What did she do? Adrian hesitated. Then he told her. Everything. The leak. The headline. Julia's accusation. The board tension. The impending legal war. Emily felt a wave of dread hit her again, but this time, she wasn't collapsing. Not with his hands still holding hers. She swallowed. What do we do now? Adrian straightened, jaw set with a dangerous, focused calm she'd never seen before. Now, he said, I go to war. Adrian didn't return to his office until nearly an hour later. Emily spent that hour sitting on the couch against the far wall, her breathing finally even, her palms folded tightly in her lap. She felt drained, emotionally scraped out, hollow, but strangely steady. Not because the nightmare was over. It wasn't. It was only beginning. But because someone, for the first time since this started, fought alongside her. When the door opened, she looked up. Adrian entered silently. His shoulders were stiff, jaw locked, tie gone, top button undone, the look of a man who had spent an hour pulling the company back from a cliff edge with his bare hands. He shut the door behind him, then turned to her. We have a crisis meeting in 20 minutes. Emily swallowed. With who? The full board, he said. Legal, PR, HR. Everyone with decision-making power. Her throat tightened. And me? You're coming. Her breath caught. No, she said quickly. They think I caused this. They think what Julia wants them to think. His eyes darkened. And we're done letting her control the narrative. Emily looked away, but he stepped toward her, not intimidating, not demanding, simply standing close enough that she felt his presence steady her. You don't have to speak, he said gently. Just be there. Let them see the person Julia is trying to destroy. But what if I mess it up? She whispered. You won't. How can you be so sure? He hesitated for half a second, then said quietly, Because I've never seen you break under pressure. Her heart clenched. A compliment. A truth. But also a kind of faith she wasn't used to. She nodded. Okay, she whispered. He gave a single, subtle exhale, relief, or something close to it. Good. Let's get ready. The boardroom wasn't the same one as 2 days ago. This one was larger, more ornate, windows stretching floor to ceiling with a panoramic view of the city. Emily had never been inside. She felt small walking in, painfully, humiliatingly aware of the eyes that turned toward her the moment she crossed the threshold. Whispers rose instantly. That's the girl. Why is she here? Is this wise? This looks bad for optics. Adrian heard all of them. He didn't flinch. He placed a hand, barely, gently, at the small of Emily's back as he guided her toward the long central table. He didn't touch her enough for it to be inappropriate. Just enough that everyone saw. He wasn't hiding her. He wasn't ashamed of her. And he wasn't letting anyone intimidate her. They sat. Julia arrived last. She walked in wearing a bright ivory blazer, perfectly tailored, as if she wanted to contrast herself against the chaos she'd started. She shot Emily a small, victorious smile. Emily didn't look away. The meeting began with the chairman clearing his throat. "We've had developing complications," he said, avoiding Emily's eyes. "Media outlets have already published 2 articles. More are preparing statements." Julia leaned back smoothly. "That's unfortunate," she said. "But leaks happen." Adrian's gaze snapped to her. "Leaks don't publish themselves on 3 synchronized platforms in under 40 minutes. Julia's eyebrow rose delicately. "Are you implying something?" "I'm stating that you fed the story to the press." A ripple went around the table. Julia kept her expression neutral. "You have no proof." "Not yet." The threat in his voice was surgical. The chairman lifted a hand. "Let's focus. We need to resolve the accusations and protect the company. Julia, your appointment is on pause until we complete an investigation." Emily stiffened. The chairman's tone was clipped, bureaucratic, impersonal. "Your temporary suspension is lifted until further notice." But Adrian spoke before the chairman could finish. "She is not suspended." The chairman frowned. "That's not your decision alone, Adrian." "It is," he said, "when the suspension was based on falsified assumptions and incomplete evidence." Julia scoffed. "So you're reinstating her just like that?" "Yes, because she cried in your office." Silence, a thick, ugly one. Emily felt her blood drain from her face. Several board members exchanged looks. Adrian's jaw clenched so tightly the muscles rippled. "She had a panic attack," he said coldly. "Because of your actions." Julia laughed. "What actions?" "Asking questions. Trying to protect the company. You're grasping at straws." Adrian leaned forward, eyes sharp as knives. "You framed her," gasped around the room. Julia didn't blink. "Oh really? And you can prove that?" He tapped a folder in front of him. "Yes." Julia's smirk faltered. Adrian spread out several sheets of printed logs. New ones, not what Emily had shown. "These are the raw, untampered network logs from the night of the breach," he said. "Cross-referenced with badge access, camera timestamps, and device proximity data." The head of IT leaned in, scanning quickly. "Holy, keep reading," Adrian said. The IT director swallowed. "This shows Ms. Bennett's badge and phone entered the executive area at 2:14 a.m. Julia's expression tightened. "Coincidence," she said. Then, IT continued, "The files were accessed from a workstation registered to Mr. Hawley's office." Emily watched Julia's face. It was subtle, but she saw it, the panic beneath the polish. "And computational fingerprints indicate the login wasn't a forced entry," IT added. "It was authenticated using a clone device." Julia's chair creaked as she shifted. "Anyone could have." "Julia," Adrian cut her off softly. "I know you did it." His voice wasn't loud, but the quiet certainty in it was lethal. She opened her mouth, but a ringtone blared. Everyone looked down. It was the chairman's phone. He answered, listened, and slowly, his face drained. He hung up, then looked around the table. That was PR. A beat of silence. "Julia, they know it was you." The room erupted. Shocked murmurs, questions, accusations. Julia shot to her feet. "This is a setup. This is political. You can't." "Security is on their way," the chairman said. "I'm not leaving," she shouted. Emily flinched at the volume. Adrian rose instantly, not in aggression, but as if ready to stand between Julia and Emily if he had to. Julia's eyes darted wildly. She pointed at Emily. "This is her fault. She's playing all of you." "She's sleeping." "Finish that sentence," Adrian said quietly, "and I will see you personally." Julia froze. 2 security officers entered. Julia's voice dropped, trembling with rage. "You think this is over? You think a little analyst is worth burning your empire for?" Adrian met her eyes. "She's worth more than you ever were." Julia went silent. Security escorted her out. The door closed. The boardroom deflated in the aftermath. But Emily couldn't breathe. The tension, the exposure, the accusations, the way everyone had stared at her when Julia insinuated that. Her throat tightened. She stood abruptly. "I need some air." She walked out before anyone could stop her, heading down the hallway, turning blindly until she found an empty alcove near the windows. She pressed her palms against the glass, trying to steady herself. "I can't be here. Everyone saw how he defended me. Everyone thinks." "Emily." She flinched at his voice. Adrian stood behind her, hands at his sides, breathing unevenly. She wiped her eyes. "I'm fine," she whispered. "You're not." She let out a hollow laugh. "Everyone thinks I'm involved with you." Adrian stepped closer, not touching her, but near enough for her to feel the warmth of him behind her. "Let them think what they want," he said. She turned, shocked. "That doesn't bother you." "What bothers me," he said softly, "is watching you suffer for something you didn't do." Her voice cracked when she said those things. "I felt so small." "You're not small." His eyes held hers, unwavering, steady. "You're the strongest person in that building." Emily swallowed hard. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "Why fight this hard for me?" Silence. Then, "Because I should have protected you from the beginning," he said. "And because," he stopped, looked away for a moment, then back at her. "Because losing you would have been a mistake I couldn't live with." Her breath caught, and for the first time, neither of them hid what was happening between them. Not in fear, not in denial. Something fragile, something dangerous, something real. Their eyes locked, but Adrian stepped back, barely regaining control. "Come on," he said gently. "Let's finish this." Emily nodded, but her heartbeat didn't slow. Nothing would ever be the same now. By late afternoon, the entire city seemed to know Emily Carter's name. Not as a competent analyst. Not as the young woman who uncovered the leak. Not as the person who had just survived Julia's ruthless schemes. No. She was the analyst who allegedly had a personal connection with the CEO, according to every online headline, every news ticker, every social media feed. Emily sat in a small, cold green room, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. A single microphone rested on a stand in front of her. Camera lenses pointed like sharp eyes, and the crew murmured quietly, adjusting angles and lighting. Her stomach churned. Her hands shook. Her heart pounded like a jackhammer. And then Adrian Hale entered. He didn't smile. He didn't speak. He just closed the door, surveyed the room, and locked eyes with her. "Emily," he said softly, "look at me." She did. Her pulse accelerated. Every instinct screamed at her to hide. "You're not alone in this," he said, quietly but firmly. "I'm right here, and I'm not letting them tear you down." Her throat tightened, not from fear, not entirely, but because she felt the weight of a man, a CEO, placing his faith entirely in her, protecting her. Right, he added, softer. "They'll try to spin this, twist this, but you have your truth. And I will make sure it comes out." Emily nodded slowly, swallowing hard. She had her words ready, rehearsed in the mirror for hours. But hearing him say that gave her a strength she hadn't felt in weeks. The press conference began. Emily stepped to the microphone. Every flash, every scribble of a reporter's pen, every camera lens felt like fire on her skin. She felt Adrian's eyes on her. Steady, unwavering. Silent support. Presence. Her voice shook at first. "I. I am Emily Carter," she began, breath trembling. "I have been accused unfairly of actions that I did not commit." Murmurs ran through the crowd. She inhaled, forcing herself to slow her heartbeat. "I was not involved in any leak. I did not access files illegally. And I did not act inappropriately with anyone in this company." The flashes continued. The murmurs grew louder. Emily closed her eyes briefly. Then she said the words she had kept hidden for herself. "Julia Marks is responsible for the unauthorized access of company files. The actions she took were deliberate, and I was wrongly implicated." She looked up. Directly. "At every reporter. The truth will be verified. The logs, the security footage, the badge entries, all show that I acted with integrity. And I expect the public record to reflect that." As she stepped back from the microphone, Adrian approached. He stood beside her, silent, formidable, calm. He didn't need to speak. His presence alone made a statement. He believed her, and the world could see it. A reporter shouted, trying to bait her. "Miss Carter, were you afraid the CEO wouldn't protect you?" Emily paused, glanced at Adrian. He gave the smallest nod. "No," she said firmly. "I knew the truth, and I knew those responsible would be held accountable." After the conference, the two of them walked silently down the corridor. No words were needed at first. Her heart still raced. His expression was unreadable, but she felt the tension, the focus, the danger that lingered around him like an aura. Finally, she whispered. "You. Didn't have to stand by me like that." He stopped, turned his gaze on her, sharp, piercing, but something warmer flickering beneath the surface. I didn't have to, he admitted. But I wanted to. Her pulse skipped. Something raw and real surged between them. The unspoken truth that this wasn't just about corporate battles anymore. You could have walked away, she said softly. Anyone else would have. Not me, he said quietly, a dangerous edge to his calm. Not after I saw the truth. They walked a few more steps. The building suddenly empty around them. Then Adrian stopped, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from him. Close enough that the air between them was heavy with unspoken tension. Emily swallowed hard. Double quotes you. Trust me that much, she whispered. His jaw clenched. For the first time, he didn't speak immediately. He only held her gaze, unflinching, intense. Finally, he said, low and firm. Double quotes more than anyone else in that building. More than anyone else ever. Her breath caught. Her hands trembled slightly. Her heart raced like never before. The moment was electric, fragile, and dangerous. And for a second, a fleeting, impossible second, the world outside ceased to exist. Not the media, not Julia. Not even the scandal. Only the two of them, standing in the hallway, truth laid bare, defenses down, and something real igniting. Then Adrian stepped back, regaining control, his voice cold, professional. We have a war to win. And you're not leaving my side. Emily nodded. Her chest tightened. She didn't know what the next hours. Or days would bring. But for the first time, she felt unshakably strong. Because she wasn't alone. The morning after the press conference, the city woke up buzzing with one name: Emily Carter. Every major business outlet ran follow-ups, dissecting her statements, quoting Adrian's unwavering support. Some painted her as a courageous whistleblower. Others whispered insinuations. And somewhere, Julia Bennett's carefully crafted narrative was collapsing like a house of cards. Emily sat at her desk, hands folded over her laptop, eyes scanning the newest headlines. Her inbox pinged continuously. Media requests, HR memos, legal notices, all demanding explanations, statements, interviews. Her pulse quickened. This isn't over. The office door opened abruptly. Adrian stepped in, his coat still slightly damp from the brisk morning air, his tie loosened, the intensity in his eyes sharper than ever. You need to come with me, he said, voice low. Urgent. Emily blinked. Where? To the board. Now. There's a meeting about Julia's final attempt, and I need you there. She hesitated. Double quotes I can't. Double quotes you can, he interrupted gently, but firmly, because they want to silence you. You won't let them. And because you need to take control of your own story. Emily's stomach twisted. Control. Me, she nodded, realizing that fear alone wouldn't protect her. Not anymore. The boardroom was tense. Every seat occupied. Julia was absent, but her shadow loomed in the whispered accusations and the nervous glances of some directors who had been swayed by her manipulations. Adrian stood at the head of the table, poised, commanding, immovable. He motioned for Emily to step forward. Her legs shook, but she obeyed. She faced the board, her palms sweating, her voice initially trembling. I am Emily Carter, she began, steadying herself. I have been accused unjustly of actions I did not commit. The leak, the so-called access, all allegations, are not only false. They are deliberate misrepresentations orchestrated by Julia Bennett. Double quotes. A few heads shifted. Murmurs rising. Adrian stepped slightly closer, his presence a shield. You saw her in action yesterday, he said, glancing at the board. She stood in front of the media and told the truth. Not a shred of evidence points to Emily Carter. Everything points to one person, Julia Bennett. Emily exhaled, letting some of the tension out. But you need more than my word, she continued, finding her voice stronger than she thought she could. You need proof. And I am prepared to walk you through everything, the device logs, the badge entries, the time stamps. Every piece of evidence is verifiable. The room quieted completely. The board's attention snapped toward her. A senior board member, stern, skeptical, asked, and why did you wait to present this? Why didn't you come forward sooner? Emily held their gaze. I was preparing for it, she said. I needed to ensure I could show the truth, not just accusations, but proof. And I needed Adrian Holly's support to navigate the corporate and legal complexities. Because this isn't just about me, it's about protecting the company from internal sabotage. Double quotes the board murmured. Some impressed. Some wary. Adrian single quotes as gaze never left her. Silent encouragement. Silent confidence. I can do this, she thought. I can take control. Minutes later, the door opened. Julia Bennett stormed in, furious, red-faced, ready to unleash her final salvo. Enough. Julia shouted. You can't just rewrite reality. You can't just. Adrian didn't hesitate. He stepped in front of Emily. Step aside. Julia, he said quietly. Your attempts to manipulate this company and here. Julia's eyes blazed. You can't. I just did. Adrian interrupted. Voice low. Sharp. Emily stepped forward. Her first fully active move in this battle. Her hands no longer shook. Her voice was clear, commanding. Julia Bennett, your actions are documented. Your attempts to frame me, to manipulate the board, and to leak falsified information to the media are illegal. And I will testify against you in every forum necessary. Double quotes the room went silent. Even the most skeptical board members were staring at her. Julia single quotes S face twitched. She opened her mouth, then stopped. The cameras from yesterday, the logs, the press coverage, everything was against her. Adrian single quotes S hand on Emily's shoulder was a grounding presence. She felt strength flowing from it. She didn't look away. She held her ground. And for the first time, the boardroom, the company, saw Emily Carter not as a victim, but as someone who could fight, who could command respect, who could protect herself. After the meeting, the storm was far from over, but the tide had shifted. Outside the boardroom, Adrian caught up with Emily. You were incredible, he said quietly. She exhaled, letting herself relax slightly. I had your support, she admitted. Double quotes no, he corrected softly. You had you? I just made sure nobody could stop you from showing it. Her chest tightened. She realized something, the truth, the fight, and this man's unwavering faith in her had changed her. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was stepping into her own power. And Adrian, she felt, without words, that he wasn't just her protector. He was now irrevocably a part of her journey. The afternoon sun slanted sharply through the glass walls of the boardroom, slicing across the polished table like a warning. Emily sat at the end, not trembling, not shrinking. She had refused to again. Her laptop lay open in front of her, a folder full of evidence displayed for every board member, every witness present. Adrian stood behind her, silent, watching. UNMOVABL. He didn't speak, because he didn't need to. His presence alone sent a signal. She was protected, and he believed in her completely. The door burst open. Julia Bennett appeared, storming in with a manila folder clutched in one hand and rage in her eyes. Double quotes enough. She screamed, you think you can humiliate me in my own company? I have connections, allies, and evidence that. Adrian single quotes as jaw tightened. He stepped forward, blocking her path. Not aggressively, deliberately. He made a line she couldn't cross without consequence. Julia, he said coldly. This ends now. Leave, or security will escort you out immediately. Julia's eyes flicked to Emily. She pointed an accusatory finger. And her. She spat. She's manipulating you, hail. She's using you for leverage. Everyone will know soon enough. Emily closed her laptop. Slowly. Purposefully. She stood, raising her voice for the first time in the room, not shaky, not timid, not apologetic. No, Julia. You've been using manipulation your entire career. I am not using anyone. I am showing the truth, and I will not be silenced anymore. The room fell silent. The board, legal, HR, everyone froze. Emily walked toward the center of the room. Each step measured, calm, unafraid. She faced the assembled executives, not the man behind her, not Julia. I am Emily Carter. I am innocent of these accusations. I was targeted because of someone else's greed and ambition, and I am presenting clear, verifiable evidence that proves my integrity. Double quotes. She held up her laptop. The screen displayed logs, timestamps, Communications. Undeniable proof. Adrian leaned slightly forward, his eyes locking onto hers. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. His gaze alone said, I trust you. I am with you. You are not alone. Julia flinched. Her smile faltered. Her voice dropped to a whisper. This can't be real. Double quotes. Emily pressed further, emboldened. The evidence is real. Your actions are documented. Your attempts to frame me are illegal. And you will be held accountable. A security officer stepped toward Julia, ready to escort her out. She stopped, realizing she had lost. Adrian cleared his throat. His voice was calm, controlled, yet it carried a weight that silenced everyone. This company will not tolerate deceit. We honor integrity. Emily Carter has proven hers. Julia Bennett, your tenure here ends today. The words hit the room like a hammer. Julia's face paled. She spun on her heel and stormed out, folder abandoned, dignity shattered. After the door closed, Emily sank back into her chair. Her hands trembled, but for a different reason now: relief, adrenaline, pride. Adrian approached, kneeling slightly to meet her eyes. You did it, he said quietly, voice gentle. We did it, she corrected, a small, tired smile forming. Double quotes. No, he said, shaking his head. You did it. I only watched. I only made sure no one could stop you. She looked down at their hands. He hadn't touched hers, but the proximity radiated safety, trust. Something unspoken passed between them. A long pause. Finally, she spoke, voice barely above a whisper. Thank you for believing in me. He exhaled slowly, softly. You had to believe in yourself first, he said. Her eyes met his. There was an intimacy here, not romantic, not yet, but something raw, human, powerful. You were willing to risk everything, she said. For me? For my reputation? For the truth. His jaw flexed. He didn't look away. Double quotes. Because losing you, in any way, would have been a mistake. I couldn't afford. Her chest tightened. She swallowed hard. And for the first time since this nightmare began, Emily realized. She wasn't just standing next to a CEO who had saved her career. She was standing next to a man who saw her. Truly saw her. And it terrified her. But it also gave her courage. Because the fight was over, for now. But their story, it was only beginning. The morning after Julia Bennett's downfall did not feel like victory. Emily Carter stood in front of her bathroom mirror, gripping the cold porcelain sink with both hands. The fluorescent light hummed softly above her head, too bright, almost intrusive, shining over a face she barely recognized. Her reflection looked older, not in years, in experience, as if the last weeks had carved something into her bones that wouldn't ever fully fade. Her eyes, tired, red, but awake. Her posture, straighter than before. Her pulse steady, for the first time in days. Still, her hands trembled slightly. Not from fear. From everything. The aftermath, the relief, the disbelief, and something else. Something she didn't yet dare to name. Her phone buzzed on the counter. Adrian Hale. 8:04 a.m. I'm sending a car for you. There's a media hearing at 9. I need you with me. Emily closed her eyes. Of course there was media. Of course this wasn't over. Truth didn't become reality until someone with power declared it so. And now that person was Adrian. Her pulse quickened at the thought of seeing him. Not because of the CEO. Because of the man. The way he'd looked at her in the boardroom. The way he'd said, losing you would have been a mistake I couldn't afford. The way he stood so close she could feel his breath on her cheek. Emily swallowed hard. This wasn't the time. She grabbed her blazer, tied her hair back, and made herself look steady, composed, uncheckable. Whether she felt it or not. The black sedan waited outside her building. A suited driver opened the door without speaking. Emily slid into the back seat. Inside sat Adrian Hale. He didn't look at her right away. His elbows rested on his knees, his fingers laced tightly. His jaw clenched in a way she'd never seen before. He was wearing his power suit, sharp, dark navy, immaculate, but something in him looked almost humanly tired. Only when the door shut did he lift his head. Their eyes met. The air shifted. Double quotes. Good morning, he said quietly. Her voice caught. She cleared her throat. Good morning. Double quotes silence again. It charged, thick, filled with words neither of them dared to speak. Finally, Adrian inhaled deeply and leaned back. We'll be facing the press today, he began, tone calm, controlled. They're expecting blood, a scandal, a collapse. They want to see us break. Double quotes. Emily nodded, though her heart thudded faster. But we're not giving them that, Adrian continued. I'll speak. I'll take responsibility for the internal failures. I'll clear your name myself. Her chest tightened. You don't have to do that, she whispered. Double quotes. Yes, he said. I do. He turned fully toward her. Emily, you deserve justice. You deserve clarity. The world will know what really happened. Warmth spread across her chest. Dangerous warmth. Double quotes. Thank you, she whispered. Adrian swallowed, his gaze briefly dropping to her lips before flicking away, something she wasn't supposed to notice. But did. He cleared his throat. We should go. The media hall was chaos. Flashes exploded. Reporters surged like a human wave. Security barely held them back as questions ricocheted through the air. Did the CEO protect an employee he was romantically involved with? Is it true that Emily Carter sabotaged the merger deal? Why was Julia Bennett terminated so suddenly? Was this an internal power play? Emily froze in the entrance. Her breath hitched. The crowd, the noise, the cameras, too many, too fast, too aggressive. Then a hand touched her back. Adrian. Double quotes. Emily, he murmured. Low, private, meant only for her. Look at me. She turned. His eyes, steady, focused, grounding. You're safe, he said. I'm here. Her lungs loosened. She nodded. Together they walked onto the stage. Adrian Hale spoke first. He stood before the podium like a man sculpted from resolve. No notes, no hesitation. Double quotes. Good morning, he said. I am Adrian Hale, CEO of Hale Industries. Today I am here to address the truth. The room went silent. 100 cameras pointed dead center at him. Double quotes. This company experienced an internal breach. One employee, Julia Bennett, misused her access privileges and attempted to divert blame onto an innocent colleague. A ripple swept through the crowd. Adrian continued. That colleague is Emily Carter. A murmur, louder this time. Reporters leaned forward. Double quotes. Ms. Carter acted with integrity. Double quotes, he said. She provided evidence that prevented further damage. She uncovered the breach that others tried to hide. She showed courage when she had every reason to be afraid. Emily's breath caught. He wasn't reading a statement. He was speaking from conviction, from truth, from something personal. Adrian paused. Then added, and I stand by her. Fully. The room erupted. Questions flew like bullets. Are you protecting her because of a personal connection? How long have you known her? Why wasn't Ms. Bennett investigated earlier? Is Ms. Carter receiving special treatment? Adrian single quotes as jaw clenched. He leaned closer to the microphone. I will not entertain baseless insinuations. Ms. Carter is a valued employee, and she is innocent. Emily exhaled sharply, not because of the words, but because of the way he said innocent. As if he needed the world to know. As if her reputation mattered to him more than his own. More than logic, more than distance, more than the rules of professionalism he had always followed. Emily stepped up next. Her voice shook at first, but then grew stronger. I stood here 2 days ago, accused of actions I did not commit. Double quotes. Emily began. I want to thank Mr. Hale for allowing me the opportunity to present evidence and protect the integrity of this company. Flashes intensified. But this isn't just about me, she continued. This is about the truth, about accountability. About ensuring that no one, no matter their position, can weaponize power against the innocent. Double quotes. She saw Adrian's eyes soften with something like pride. I am grateful, she said quietly, that my voice was heard. She stepped back from the podium. For a moment the hall was silent. Then chaos resumed, louder, more frantic, but different now. Questions were no longer spears aimed at her. She'd won back her voice. And Adrian had given her the platform to use it. After the conference, Emily waited in a small private lounge. Her nerves finally crashed into exhaustion. Her knees felt weak, her palms clammy. She sank onto the leather sofa, breathing deeply. The door opened quietly. Adrian entered. He closed the door behind him. Then he leaned against it, letting out a breath he'd clearly been holding. Well, he said softly, that was something. Emily gave a tired laugh. I think I'm still shaking. You were perfect, he said, too quickly, too honestly. She froze. Their eyes met. Neither looked away. It meant a lot, she whispered. What you said. How you defended me. His jaw tensed. I meant every word. A pause. Dangerous. Electric. Emily, he said slowly. I want you to understand something. She swallowed. He took a step toward her. You weren't just another employee I needed to protect, he said quietly. You mattered. You still matter. Her pulse raced. Adrian, she whispered. Another step. Close now, too close. Tell me to stop, he murmured. She did in single quotes. Her breath trembled. He reached out, slowly, carefully, and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. Her eyes fluttered shut. Emily, he whispered, voice barely there. And for one suspended moment, the world held still. The scandal, the company, the cameras, the storm. None of it existed. Only them. Only this. Only the truth neither had spoken but both had felt for far too long. Emily opened her eyes. Why did you risk so much for me? Adrian exhaled. Shakly. Because losing your reputation wasn't something I could accept, he said. Losing you wasn't something I could accept. Her breath hitched. He stepped even closer, inches away now. She whispered, I'm not lost. He closed his eyes for a moment, as if those words undid him completely. When he opened them, something had changed. Something deep, something real. Good, he said softly. Because I'm not done fighting for you yet. Emily felt her heart open, wide, terrifying, bright. She whispered, I'm here. The city was painted in gold by the time Emily and Adrian left the conference center. The late afternoon sun hung low, casting long shadows across the plaza, softening the sharp angles of the glass towers. Reporters still clustered outside, shouting questions that dissolved into the warm air like dust. But inside the building, inside Emily, something fundamental had shifted. Not because she'd been vindicated, not because the truth was finally public. But because of the way Adrian had looked at her afterward, when the door closed and the world fell away. She had seen it. She had felt it. Something that couldn't be taken back. And now, walking beside him toward the waiting elevator, every step vibrated with the weight of an unspoken decision. One she knew she'd have to make soon. Adrian pressed the elevator button, but his gaze flicked to her as if he could sense the tension forming under her skin. Emily, he said quietly. Yes. He hesitated. Adrian Hale, a man who never hesitated, then tried again. Talk to me. She swallowed. About what? But they both knew what. The elevator arrived with a soft chime. They stepped in. The doors slid shut, sealing them into a mirrored box of stillness. Adrian moved first. He leaned back against the rail, exhaling slowly. I crossed a line today. Emily's pulse quickened. Which one? His eyes lifted to hers. The one I've been pretending wasn't there. Her heart stuttered. Adrian. No. He said, stepping toward her, voice low but steady. I need you to hear this. I almost lost you, not your position, not your reputation, you. And it made something very clear. He stood close now, but not touching. The kind of closeness that felt intentional. Respectful, controlled. Barely. Her breath trembled. What did it make clear? She whispered. That I can't go back to pretending you're just another member of my staff. His words landed between them like a spark in dry forest. Emily single quotes as chest tightened. You're still my boss. He nodded once. For now. For now. The elevator dinged open, but neither of them moved. Adrian held her gaze, eyes dark with something deeper than desire, stronger than impulse. I single quotes. I'll step down if I have to. Double quotes. He said softly. If that's what it takes to be with you without crossing any lines, double quotes, Emily froze, the weight of his words crashed into her all at once, heavy, overwhelming, too big to absorb in one breath, double quotes, Adrian, You'd give up Hale Industries for something real, he murmured, Yes, her breath caught. Her heart pounded, the elevator door tried to close again, then reopened as if sensing their indecision, Adrian stepped back slightly, giving her space, You don't have to say anything now, he said gently, You've been through enough, I won't add pressure, but I won't lie either, I care about you more than I should, more than I planned, more than is safe, double quotes, his gaze softened, but I'm not taking it back. They walked to his office in silence, not uncomfortable silence, the kind charged with decisions. Unmade, Emily took a seat on the sofa while Adrian loosened his tie, tossing it on the desk with a rare sign of exhaustion, For a while neither spoke, then Emily broke the stillness, double quotes, what happens now? Adrian paused mid-motion and turned to her, That depends on one thing, On what? You, double quotes, his voice was calm, but the truth beneath it was not, Emily stood slowly, moving closer to him, When you said you'd step down, double quotes, she began, I meant it, double quotes, Emily looked at him, really looked. The man who carried a company on his shoulders, who had fought to protect her when he had no reason to, who offered to give up the power he'd built his life around. For her, her chest tightened with something sharp, warm, frightening. Real, You can't make a decision like that for me, she whispered, I'm not. Adrian said softly, I'm making it for myself, her breath shook, Why? He stepped closer, because you matter more to me than a title, double quotes, her heart clenched, double quotes, Adrian. He stopped a breath away from her, Close enough to feel the warmth of him, close enough that one wrong move would shatter the boundary between them completely, I'm not asking you for anything, he said, Not a promise, not an answer, not a relationship. I just need you to know what I feel, what I'm willing to risk, Emily swallowed hard, her voice barely audible, double quotes, and if I told you I feel something too. His breath caught, the first break in his composure she'd ever seen, then, he whispered, I'll wait for you to decide where we go from here, her pulse hammered, she took a shaky breath, double quotes, Adrian, I don't want you to step down, surprise flickered in his eyes, I don't want you to throw away everything you built, she said, Not because of me, Not even for me, his jaw tightened, but not from anger. From restraint, double quotes, then tell me what you want. He murmured, Emily looked up at him, really looked, and everything inside her, fear, longing, gratitude, desire, rose to the surface at once, I want the truth, she whispered, I want whatever this is to be honest, and slow, and real, Adrian's breath deepened, double quotes, and, she continued, stepping slightly closer, I want to choose it freely, not because someone is saving me, not because of power, not because of a crisis, her voice lowered. Steady now, I want to choose it because it's a double quotes, silence, a long, suspended heartbeat of silence, Adrian closed his eyes for a moment, as if her words physically reached him, then opened them again. Gaze soft and full and unguarded, double quotes, Emily, he said quietly. Then we do this your way, how is that? Slow, real, he gave a faint, warm, almost smile. And honest, Emily's lips tilted. Honest is a good start, double quotes, then, hesitantly, carefully, she reached for his hand, not fully. Just a touch. Her fingers brushed his, Adrian inhaled sharply, barely audible but unmistakable, her touch moved him, deeply, he turned his hand. Slowly, deliberately, until his palm aligned with hers. Their fingers slid together, not fully intertwined, but enough to say I see you. I choose this too, Emily met his gaze, so, she whispered, voice trembling with a mix of nerves and warmth. Where do we go from here? Adrian stepped close enough that their hands remained connected, but their bodies didn't touch, double quotes, anywhere you want, he said, As long as we go together, her heart expanded, filling her chest until she felt breathless. She squeezed his hand gently. Double quotes. Okay, she whispered. Together. And for the first time since this entire nightmare began, maybe for the first time in her life, Emily felt something she hadn't felt in years. Not fear, not suspicion, not survival. Hope. Real, bright, terrifying, beautiful hope. She held his gaze. He held her hand. And in that quiet, fragile, powerful moment, without dramatic declarations, without stolen kisses, without breaking any lines, they chose each other. Not as CEO and employee, not as crisis and protector, but as two people standing at the beginning of something new. Something hard, something complicated. Something worth everything. Something real.